Industroyer, CrashOverride. Imagine a virus that doesn't care about your passwords, credit cards, or Bitcoin. It just wants to play flip the light switch at a multi-gigawatt scale. Meet Industroyer, a terrifying nation-state weapon engineered to speak the highly specialized automation languages used by electrical grids. Traditional antivirus software completely missed it because it didn't rely on typical malicious code or software vulnerabilities. Instead, it mimicked official commands from legitimate grid operators. Once inside the system, it initiated a continuous command loop to force circuit breakers open, instantly cutting power to entire cities. While engineers frantically tried to manually turn the lights back on, a wiper module quietly executed a kamikaze routine, completely erasing the substation's communication lines to keep the city trapped in total darkness. In a bizarre, dark twist of counterforensics, researchers later discovered that the developers embedded a useless, hidden string of text inside the code that simply read, "Goodbye crew world," right before bricking the hardware. It is basically a cat walking across a keyboard, if that cat had a terrifying understanding of European power grids. It proves that the most dangerous weapons aren't loud, they just look like regular, everyday network traffic. AcidRain. Most hackers try to stealthily steal data, but AcidRain just walks into a device's brain with a bucket of black paint and starts slathering it everywhere until the hardware completely forgets it's a computer. This is a permanent denial of service wiper built specifically to destroy the raw flash memory storage chips inside remote telecommunications hardware. Because antivirus software rarely exists on low-power satellite modems, AcidRain easily bypassed defenses, hijacked root administrative access, and recursively overwrote crucial block directories with random junk data before hard severing the connection. This instantly bricked tens of thousands of modems across Europe, and as a hilarious, unintended side effect, accidentally knocked out the remote management systems for over 5,000 industrial wind turbines in Germany. When cybersecurity firms finally analyzed the code, they were stunned to find the destructive loop used a primitive, copy-pasted technique from hobbyist forums. It proved that you don't need elegant, multi-million-dollar code to reduce space-age satellite equipment into a silent, very expensive doorstop. It is the digital equivalent of a sledgehammer, built specifically to take down the invisible infrastructure that keeps the modern world connected. EquationDrug. You could format your hard drive, completely reinstall Windows, or even throw your computer out a window, but if you save that hard drive, EquationDrug is sitting there waiting like, "Welcome back, Chief, miss me?" Created by an elite hacking group, this malware achieved the ultimate holy grail of cyber espionage, infecting the physical firmware microcode built into the hard drive controller chip itself. Since commercial antivirus software only scans files visible to the operating system, EquationDrug was completely invisible. It carved out an encrypted, untraceable vault inside the drive's hidden factory sectors to store stolen data and specialized espionage plugins. Obscure forensic analysis later revealed that one of these hidden plugins was explicitly programmed to monitor and log the physical spin-up time of old mechanical disks, ensuring it only siphoned data while the user was away from the desk. It is the closest thing the tech world has to a literal ghost haunting the physical metal of your computer. Antivirus companies can't protect you from it because it lives beneath the digital world, hiding inside the actual machinery where software safety shields physically cannot reach. Project Sauron, Remsec. Project Sauron is a virus with a major identity crisis, but a brilliant strategy for avoiding antivirus detection. To stop security teams from sharing clues, it was programmed to never look the same twice. Every file name, registry key, and encryption key was custom generated for each individual victim. If it infected computer A, it disguised itself as a boring printer driver. On computer B, it claimed to be a routine system update. To breach highly classified, air-gapped government networks that aren't even connected to the internet, it secretly hid its virtual file system inside raw, unpartitioned spaces on standard USB drives that Windows viewed as completely blank. It operated in total secrecy for 5 years, leaving analysts entirely blind. The authors were so incredibly confident in their digital camouflage that they named several internal tracking modules after Lord of the Rings characters, including Sauron and Legolas. It's the ultimate master of disguise, executed with nerd-tier high fantasy naming conventions. It shows that sometimes the best way to hide a multi-million-dollar spy program is to make it look exactly like the background clutter of an average office computer. Flame, Skywiper. While most viruses are sleek, tiny needles, Flame was a grand piano falling out of a window. Clocking in at a massive 20 megabytes, it was a colossal digital vacuum cleaner that gaslit operating systems by executing a complex mathematical MD5 hash collision attack to forge an official Microsoft security signature. Because the computer believed it was a trusted Microsoft update, it waved flame right through. Once installed, it completely weaponized the target's physical office environment. It covertly turned on laptop microphones to record room conversations, took rapid-fire screenshots of open email clients, and used the machine's Bluetooth antenna to quietly interrogate and download contact lists from smartphones sitting on the desk. It accumulated so much stolen audio data that the developers actually had to embed a full, functioning SQLite database inside the malware just to organize the loot. It's the digital equivalent of a guy wearing a bright yellow high-vis vest and holding a clipboard to casually sneak into a bank vault. It proved that if you look official enough, even the smartest computers will hand you the keys. Salt Typhoon. Why bother breaking into a house to read a letter when you can just buy the post office? That is the exact philosophy behind Salt Typhoon, a stealth operation that ignores individual computers and targets the central choke points of global communications, Internet Service Providers, ISPs. Because commercial antivirus software only runs on user laptops and enterprise servers, it is physically impossible for them to scan the massive, high-throughput core routers that route global web traffic. Salt Typhoon establishes deep persistence inside router firmware, using customized network listeners that only trigger when a highly non-standard, secret sequence of packets is sent, essentially a digital secret knock. When a high-value intelligence target transmits data, the malware silently mirrors that specific traffic, sending a copy to a command server while the original message continues to its destination completely unaltered. It sits upstream at the digital water treatment plant, taking a quiet little sip of everyone's internet traffic without ever leaving a trace. It's a brilliant, terrifying reminder that your home defenses don't matter if the entire neighborhood's pipeline has been hijacked. ShadowPad. ShadowPad is the ultimate Trojan horse story for IT professionals. The creators realized that breaking directly into highly secured banks or government agencies was too difficult, so they hacked Sauron, the trusted software vendor that provides the administrative tools those high-security networks use every day. They secretly embedded an encrypted backdoor payload directly into the legitimate product's source code before compilation. When the official software update was pushed out, antivirus tools explicitly trusted it because it carried a valid digital signature from the reputable developer. To maximize counter-forensics, the backdoor remained completely dormant for weeks after installation, waking up only if it confirmed the machine was connected to a corporate domain matching a highly specific list of targeted industry keywords. Your IT department downloads a routine update, celebrates their secure systems, and completely misses the fact that they just personally invited the bad guys inside and handed them a warm cup of coffee. It turned the very concept of a security update into a vulnerability, making cyber defense teams do the attacker's delivery work for them. Regin. Regin is basically the movie Inception, but for computers. It went completely undetected for nearly a decade by using a complex, 5-stage loading sequence where no single stage contained any recognizable malicious code. Stage 1 simply loads a tiny, harmless driver that decrypts Stage 2, which decrypts Stage 3, and so on. The core modules of Regin are never written as files onto the hard drive. Instead, they exist inside a heavily encrypted, custom virtual file system stashed inside obscure Windows registry keys. Once loaded into memory, it runs a tiny, invisible version of its own operating system inside your machine to sniff passwords and capture raw network packets. It went to such extreme lengths to blend into background noise that it invented its own proprietary network protocols that mimicked harmless ICMP internet pings. Your antivirus software looks right at it, sees nothing but standard background processes, and completely misses the miniature data-stealing circus operating under its nose. It is the gold standard of digital ghosts, running an entire secret world inside a machine that thinks it's completely safe.